Come with me today while I come knock out just a regular day of pest control. It's morning. I'm still at home. I do have a morning routine. I always recommend that that's something you do. For me, I just got back on a run. Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. It's been a busy morning. I went for a run. I've got a sauna back there that I do in the morning after my run. Then I shower, shave, do all that good stuff. Make sure I take my vitamins, make sure I drink my veggies, all that good stuff. And then my morning starts. Right now it is 8:45. I'm getting ready to get to my first stop here in just a few minutes. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and get my truck, make sure that it's set up. I usually do this the day before, but we had football practice yesterday. So I'm gonna get everything ready, and y'all come with me while I knock out my first job. I just pulled up to the apartment complex. They're my first stop for the day. I honestly forgot to open up field routes and look up the totals, so I will do the totals for everything here in just a bit. But yeah, it's a decently busy day today. I've got maybe 8 or 9 stops that are my regular just general pests, and then I've got a few from the property management company that they sent me over. So we're gonna definitely be busy. Let's just go knock it out. So the way that I do these apartments is there are 8 buildings, including the leasing office. So what I do is I break it down with, there's typically 4 weeks in the month. And so Wednesday is my apartment day. You can see I got the buildings all over here. But yeah, each week I just rotate, because they do want monthly pest control. So week 1 is buildings 1 and 2. Week 2 is 3 and 4. Week 3 is 5 and 6, and week 4 is 7 and 8. One of the great things, it was busy the very first month. It was a busy one, but because I've been able, and now we're going into 4 months or something like that of service, they're definitely reaping the rewards of having a solid pest control company do their service. Because honestly, I today I've got 2 interior services that I need to do. So that's a good thing. It's going to be quick. It's just general pest control on a large scale. You see, you got 3 floors. I don't mind it. Gets me some steps, keeps me moving, keeps me active. But at the end of the day, it's not very difficult. So yeah, I'm gonna go get all this done. I just wanted to let you guys know how I do it, how I break it down. And again, it's just 2 buildings a week. I'll be here for an hour tops, and then I'm out. Done with just about everything now. I just got to walk around and check these base stations as we're getting into the fall winter time. It's what we do. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to Pest Tech USA out there in Georgia. They reached out to me. They sent over some equipment for me to give a shot, and today's actually one of those perfect times. I've used it a couple times, but this is one of the there it goes. You can see they even got my name on there. But what it is just a key fob. It's a Swiss Army key fob. You've got different rodent station keys. You got 4. I love it. Honestly, I've been able to use it. It does come in handy, especially for today, because we've got that sort of base station as well as this right here. So instead of having to pull out my keys and different ones, got the Swiss Army key fob. I'm excited to use it. So shout out again to Pest Tech. I really appreciate this. Plus all the other good gear that you sent my way. I'm excited. Don't worry, I will be making a video on all that. But for now, I'm gonna knock out these rodent stations. All right, you guys. The day is over. I'm clearly no longer in my pest control gear. We had homecoming for my kids, stuff like that. So we just got home, to be completely honest. But I do want to say thank you all for sticking with me all day long. I know it was a pretty boring video. We got a little bit of footage of working, but like I said earlier, I didn't want to bore you guys with just the exact same thing that you're already used to seeing. You know how to deweb a home. You know how to treat a home. You know how to granulate a yard. That's all it was. All of my stops were extremely simple, very, very basic. I didn't have anything out of the ordinary. I didn't have any rodent jobs. I didn't have any German roaches. I didn't have really anything other than general quarterly pest control. And for just a quick second, I want to talk to that point. And because I'm going to get to the numbers of how I did everything, but you know, my on the side of my truck it says safe, effective, and efficient, and I've instilled that into my customers since I started. It's like, hey, listen, I don't need to do the inside if you're not having an issue. You know, something. You know, that's one thing that I educate them. I let them know, and so. Yes, and to each their own. You know, I'm not telling you that this is the way that you need to run your business, because it's not. This is just the way that I run my company and the way that I do my services. There's other companies, you know, I know a guy who spends, 45 minutes at each house, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can do, you can still do 8 or 9 houses, and have a productive day. But the thing with me is, because I am efficient with it. And by that, I mean that my services I'm going to just be completely transparent. They're pretty quick. I'm usually at home for 20, maybe 25 minutes. That's just how I do it. I get there, I talk to the customer, I address any concerns that they may have. I deweb, I treat, and I granulate. It's very straightforward. There's really not much to it. It says, hey, and they're happy. As long as they're not having any issues, they're completely happy. They're completely fine with everything that I'm doing. Now, if they were consistently having issues, then maybe, doing these services a little bit quicker, they might be hesitant. And I'm not saying I spend 10 minutes, because I usually do spend on average between 18 to 22 minutes per home. That's just right about it. So again, that's the way that I do it. And for me, it's efficient, it's effective, and it is pretty profitable. And I say that because, for example, on Monday, today's Wednesday, by the way, on Monday, I only worked about an hour and a half, and it was right here in my neighborhood. I had 5 customers that I scheduled that day, because I knew that my wife and I were going to take our youngest to the movies, and just enjoy some time with them, because I have been working a lot. So I said, hey, let's go take her to go see Gabby's Dollhouse, and let's just go eat lunch. The 3 of us, we'll just do our thing, right? And because I didn't have much drive time, because the stops were already in my neighborhood, made it super efficient. That morning I was able to go get my morning routine, and I ran, I hit the sauna, and I started work just after 9 o'clock. It was like 9:15 when I got to my first house. And I was done by, before 11 o'clock. And Again, it was quick, it was efficient, and it was effective, like I said. But because it was a dense route, I was on two streets. I had three houses on one street, one house that was a block away, and then I finished up with a house that was maybe like 7 or 8 houses away from me. So super efficient. And because I'm only there for like 20 minutes, again, I'm putting in an hour and a half work. And that day specific they were all 120 customers. So, 120 times 5, whatever that is, that's $600. $600 for an hour and a half of work. I don't know about you, but I'll take that. That's not bad at all. And so I only say that because I'm gonna get into how many stops I did today, and then the numbers on how much I made in revenue today, and then I'm also gonna talk about how long it took me to get today's route taken care of. So just keep all that in mind. And with that being said, we'll just jump straight into it. So today I had 11 stops. I had, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I had this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yes, I did have 11 stops. I had the apartments, which is my monthly account. I had a quarterly, a bi-monthly, a quarterly. I had one follow-up, so I didn't make any money on that one. I mean, and that's just the nature of the game. Pest control is, you're going to have, especially if you're in states where, like Texas or Arizona or anywhere really, you're going to have a touch-up every now and again. Luckily for me, it was only the one. That's all I have. And not to toot my own horn, but I don't have many reservices. So that's a really good day, 11 stops, one of them was a reservice, another quarterly, and then I had 3 one-times for the property management company. And real quick, just on those, I told you in the last video, if you can get in with the property management company, do so, because they are, they're money, man. They're going to send you work, just get it done. And yesterday, the guy that I work with, he texted me, he said, hey, we've got 3 properties. 2 of them have ants inside. The other one has some ants along the driveway, and and a couple of wasp nests that I needed to take care of. All in all, it was maybe 15 minutes of work because, again, we're also in that understanding with that property management company. They said, listen, when we have an issue, all we need is that issue taken care of. They didn't want me going, doing a whole lot more, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they would, they do want me to go above and beyond, and I do, I take care of them, I really do, but they're not going to say, I have ants, hey, come do a full one time that's going to take $175. All they want is that specific issue to be taken care of. That's all it is. So there's 2 homes that I did for the inside. I did an interior treatment as well as baiting with some Max Force for rover ants, little black ants in the kitchen. That's all it was. It took me, and luckily it was 2 units. They were next door neighbors, and I went and knocked them out $99 a piece. And then I did one a couple blocks away, another one of their properties, and that was just for fire ants outside. I did an exterior treatment, and I removed some wasp nests. That one I was there for 20 minutes. So I mean, you're looking at literally, 15 to 25 minutes total, and that's including drive time with everything to get those 3 done, and that was $300 right there. So keep that in mind. Again, I did the apartments for $310. I did a quarterly for $120, a bi-monthly for $120, a quarterly for $120, the follow-up, which made me no money, another quarterly for this is an older one, that one's $110, another quarterly for $120, and then I did one other bi-monthly for $110. So you total it all up, and it was $1,310 total for in revenue that I did today. So 11 stops, 10 of them were paying stops. One of them, again, was a touch-up, follow-up, resurface, whatever you want to call it. But that was the only one that made me no money. Everything else, and luckily it was right around the corner. I'm smart with it whenever I do my scheduling. And so it was just right around the corner, so it didn't really take me any time to go get that taken care of. But $1,300, just over $1,300. And then, I got it done, and I got there just after 9 o'clock, and I was done by 2:15, 2:30. So, let's just round up and let's just say it was a full 6 hours. And it really wasn't, that's you got to remember, I'm driving, I had lunch, stopped by the store, a couple things that we just do while we're out there, out and about. I could have been done quicker, but I just didn't need to. I knew that I know how to do this route. I'm efficient with it. So $1,300 and just over $1,300, and I put in 6 hours of work. So it can be done. You guys can get out there and do it. And that's that. Today was a $1,300 day. I mentioned yesterday, earlier in the video, I think I had, again, 9 or 10 stops, and it was a $900,000 day, something like that. And then Monday was a $600 day. Tomorrow I gotta do a few other errands. And I'm doing good so far in the month. I'm pretty efficient. I'm getting a lot of stuff done last week and this week. So I'm just good. So tomorrow I got to go pick up some product. I got to do a few other things, but overall, let's say because I know that I do have a few scheduled stops tomorrow. My wife scheduled it for me, but it might be like 4 or 5. Very, very minimal, again, because I have other things that I got to do. But I'm going to get it done, and it'll still be a profitable day, because all of my stops, they're all ranging from, my lower end ones maybe are like the $85. And those are ones that are getting bumped up, but I don't have very many more of those. I've really done price increases for a lot of those as well. And so on average, all my customers are right around 120. The lower ones are going to be 105 to 110. And then there's a handful that are around $75 or $80. And that's just, I got those just to bring them on board. But yeah, overall, it's productive. You see, the things with the business are going well. I'm so thankful. I say that super humbly. I'm very, very grateful to be in the spot that I'm in. But I'm also very aware that it's all the work that I've done that has put me in this spot. And like I say all the time, you guys, if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm not doing anything. And when I say anything special, I'm saying I'm not doing anything that you guys can't do. Just be present on social media, collect those reviews, have great customer service, exactly all the things that I talked about in the last video. That's what I'm doing. Be present, just be involved with the community. People just need to know who you are, and you can do that. And so if you're a solo operator and this is all you want is a lifestyle business where, hey man, if I can make, $1,000 a day, 5 days a week, you're looking at $20,000 a month, it absolutely could be done if you were doing, something that I'm doing right now. Is very, very similar. It's not, already I'm sitting at, a little over, 2,500, 1,300 plus 1,000 plus $600, so I'm at right around, $3,000 for the week, and it's only Wednesday. So I still have Thursday and Friday to go. So you guys, it can be done, and you can have a very, very good life if that's what you want to do. Me personally, I'm trying to grow. I want to have a team, and, I want to get out of a truck. But again, the whole point of this video is just to show you that it can be done and what is possible. And this is the low end. There's other guys that can do, 13, 14, 15 stops a day and, work, 8 or 9 hours a day. If you're willing to put in that work, imagine what I did, if I started at 8 and I worked till 5, that's, another 4 hours of work time, and I can get a lot done. So these days can be even more profitable. But again, this is the way that I'm running it for me. You do you. But there's so much opportunity, and people, and we talk about it, we laugh about it. The pest control game is not a sexy business, but that money's pretty sexy. So get out there, grind, hustle, and you can make it happen. You can build the life that you deserve, and more importantly, that your family deserves. So just get out there and make it happen. Until next time, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for kicking it with me all day today. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to help me out, hit that share button. Share it with somebody that you know in the pest control industry. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Every day that number gets a little bit higher. So, I just appreciate all the love. I can't thank you guys enough. But until next time, you guys keep doing your thing. Keep growing those pest control business, those lawn care business, those home service businesses, or whatever business you're in. Keep hustling, keep grinding. Take care. And as always, stay confident.